Hello, everybody, and welcome in to the new and improved set. As we can see here, got a kind donation from a friend of the show. The banner that you are seeing in front of you, and a couple new microphones, a little bit new setup. How are you feeling, Max?
Feeling good. Episode 11. Girlfriend came through with the flag. And it looks beautiful with our nice little fake plants.
They're real, actually, but...
Well, they're real, yeah. But we did have this microphone in our last episode, which you didn't see the last episode because we're like, why don't we order 2 microphones? Because I was getting some shit from some people, including my co-host, that my voice was too loud. I don't know. I don't really get what that's all about. But we're like, let's order another microphone. And let's have this setup just be impeccable. Just like it is right now.
It's
and if
pristine.
you can hear, I've already learned some things about this new microphone. My voice has never been, not low, because I haven't hit puberty yet, but like low. You know what I'm saying, Teddy?
Yeah.
Like I'm not loud.
No, yeah, I get what you're saying. So, I mean, we're happy to... What's the last episode we uploaded?
It was on Zoom, so this is our first one being back of the
First
new
one
year.
back in person. Super excited about that. So if we want to get...
New camera, too.
Yep, new cam. So if we want to get right into it, our cameraman gives us the finger. Alright, so
Super Bowl.
really only one thing to talk about right now.
Actually, there's a lot to talk about.
There's a lot to talk about right now, but there's one thing to start this show off with, and that's got to be the Super Bowl. Joe Shiesty is taking over the world. I think a lot of people were ready to write off this as Mahomes' league, Herbert's league, and
Joe said, hold up 1 minute.
Yeah.
Just wait 1 minute.
he definitely said, hold on a second. You know, I'm not going out like that. Jamar Chase, I think, is going to revolutionize the way people draft, right? Because the rules, the way they are today, if you have a guy who's pretty much unguardable, and they throw flags so quickly, if you have a guy who's so unguardable, kind of breaks the game, right? Because there's not a whole lot defense can do without drawing a penalty when you just want to run these 10-yard hitches and slants to Jamar Chase, and he's obviously capable of taking the top off the defense, as we've seen as well.
I love the point you brought up about Jamar Chase revolutionizing how teams are going to take the wide receiver position seriously, but draft wide receivers. Because if you look at this draft, we've got some guys coming out of Alabama. We got some guys coming out of Ohio State, who has, in my opinion, the best receiving core last year. And Drake London from USC.
Yeah.
This is a wide receiver stacked class. And we saw it last year. I mean, like Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
Like, it's already happening where wide receivers... So there's this thing in the NFL where people are like, the wide receiver position isn't worth a point in the NFL, right? They're like, the quarterback position is worth however many points. Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, they're worth this many points. A defensive end, a running back, a wide receiver, they're not worth any points, but they're good assets, right? Now I think we're at a time where you look at Devontae Adams, or you look at Justin Jefferson, you look at Cooper Kupp, and you look at Jamar Chase, and these guys, and you're like, you need 2 really good receivers. If not, 1 unreal receiver, like Jamar Chase.
You know what you just made me think of after you brought up Russell Wilson and I would say Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, just some of those guys where you're like, these guys are worth these many points.
And you know who else was?
Tom Brady's worth 1 million points.
And I just realized that in the last episode that we never ended up posting was probably when we addressed that, or it might have even been before.
It's before Tom Brady retired, but I went on and said Tom Brady's going to retire because of what he said before the game.
And I said I definitely want to wait to give my Tom Brady spiel until he actually officially retires. So this isn't going to be a petty thing. I know there's drama, but I don't want to get into that right now.
You don't want to give your spiel right now?
I do, but not the drama part.
Okay.
I will say to Tom Brady, thank you. You are the greatest athlete in American sports history, and in my opinion, the world history. Nobody's ever done their job, whether it be a manager at McDonald's all the way up to the President of the United States, better than Tom Brady did his for 22 straight years. Nobody's been more successful at what they've done, more dominant at what they've done. And he's the definition of you work, and you will receive for how much you work. Because there's guys out there more physically talented than him, arm talent, speed, size, even brains, right? Sure, there's a guy smarter than him. But that's the definition of just wanting it more than everyone else. It's the Mamba mentality all mixed in, which should be really called, part of the Brady mentality now too. And yeah, thank you to Tom Brady, who has given me a million memories and is my childhood sports hero. Have a great retirement.
I'll give my little spiel. It won't be as long as his because I'm a Vikings fan, not Pats fan. However, in the last couple years, and especially this year, because of meeting Teddy, how much of a, not only Tom Brady, but a huge Patriots fan he is, my likeness and my respect for Tom Brady has gone through the roof. I listened to a podcast episode. It's with Dax Shepard. He's an actor. And he had Tom Brady on. You guys won't believe, unless you've seen a real interview with Tom Brady, how real this guy is. Every single sentence he says, there's a swear word. Every word he says is so intelligent and so perfectly placed that you're like, does this guy have a flaw? His family is perfect. His football game is perfect. Everything about Tom Brady. Fanboy will come out of me because Tom Brady, what a career. What a legend. Tom Brady. But listen to that podcast episode, Dax Shepard, armchair expert with Tom Brady. It's just amazing. And if you haven't, we've already brought it up.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Because I completely forgot that we were going to address this today because in my head we had already done it.
Man in the Arena.
Anyway, where were we?
And watch Man in the Arena.
Man in the Arena is awesome. I haven't seen the last couple, actually. I need to watch the last few.
Oh, we were talking about the wide receiver position.
Wide receiver position, yeah.
And it getting drafted and how valuable it's become.
Yeah, I think offensive talent in general is going to be so huge. And if I was a general manager, I wouldn't take, sorry to all the Aiden Hutchinson fanboys out there, including the man sitting next to me, I wouldn't draft an interior defensive lineman over my dead body in the first 15 picks of an NFL draft. And
Nick Bosa's not that good. Neither is Myles Garrett. Anyways.
If we redrafted right now, I'm taking the best offensive players before I'm taking the Aaron Donalds of the world, and it's nothing against them. It's just the way the rules of the game are. If the rules of the game were 30 years ago, I'm taking Aaron Donald and half that Rams defense before I touch an offensive player.
I'll agree with that because look at the two teams in the Super Bowl. Do they have great defenses? Yes, the Rams have great defense just because of stars. But look at the Bengals; they have a way better offense than they do a defense.
Yeah,
especially with
Bengals. Yes, Bengals. Teams. Nothing about the Bengals defense really stands out to me.
Yeah, but it is becoming. We've talked about this. It is becoming an offensive.
It's an offensive league, and that is, however, why every now and then a team comes along with a good defense, with a Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald that can cause some issues.
Right.
Let's not forget, before the Brady, comeback that fell short, they were murdering, right? They were 27-3, playing unbelievably on defense.
And we didn't talk about the comeback. We haven't even addressed that. Only Tom Brady can do that. I can name a couple more talent, or right now I would take over Tom Brady because of Tom Brady's point in his career, even though he just had one of his best statistical seasons. But I look at Josh Allen. Josh Allen could not complete that comeback or even come close to what Brady did in that game.
I am a believer in Josh Allen.
I don't think Mahomes has proved in that one year where they went to the Super Bowl how many comebacks he had in the playoffs. But I still don't think he could do what Tom Brady did against that Rams team.
Yeah, I think if you're actually going to look at it, due to the fact that Brady is 100 years old, he just seems to obviously wasn't getting bad quick enough, right? He's handed Father Time the first ever L he's ever taken in his life. Brady just got bored of being good at football, retired on top, literally with one of the best years of his career. Just retired. And with that being said, I think Josh Allen this playoffs showed me a lot. I think Josh Allen is disgusting. I think he should be talked about with Mahomes right now. I think Mahomes has shown a little more to keep winning. But then again, So this kind of brings me to my next point, and I guess we can, unless you have something you want to, I mean, if we want to touch really quick, Rams, let's just make our predictions right now.
I think we gotta wait till the end. I really do. I think we gotta move that till after.
You want to wait?
How about the underdogs and how Joe Burrow has led this team to where they are right now? I honestly don't get it. I don't get how.
I won't give you my pick yet, but I did actually have a change of heart today walking back to the dorm. Don't ask me why. I just randomly had a thought in my head, and I was like, ah. And then, but we'll discuss this at the end.
But Joe Shiesty.
Well, listen, nobody knows what I'm going to say yet. Nobody knows.
Just unreal. There are so many head coaching positions that open up every year. This year was one of the most. I think there were 8, including the Raiders. I did give my little spiel last episode about how amazing that interim head coach was for the Raiders. There was a post on Instagram of him handwriting every letter to every player, thanking them. And what he did after the whole thing with Henry Ruggs, the whole thing with John Gruden, what he did with that team.
Yeah, keeping that team together is...
And how they just never quit. Even in the Bengals game, they had a chance to win it in the last play of the game. And so I hope he gets a job someday.
Today, he got and it honestly made me a little upset to see this. I'm happy he got hired. He's a special teams coordinator on the Packers now, I think, or special teams coach on the Packers. Like head special teams. It would have been cool to see him definitely get a opportunity to be a head coach or coordinator somewhere.
Yeah.
But
that kind of leads me, though. So, you guys know I'm the biggest Jim Harbaugh fan. You guys know I'm the biggest Minnesota Vikings fan. There were reports coming out that the Vikings and Jim Harbaugh had mutual interest.
I saw reports it was a done deal.
I saw these reports, and I actually shit myself. I had to go change my pants because I shit myself. I was so fucking excited. And sure enough, deep, like in the back of my head, I was reading these reports, and I was like, nah, it's too good to be true. My favorite coach going to my favorite team, it's too good to be true. Here's where I'm going to change it and give a little fuck you to Jim Harbaugh. Here's why. Who is arrogant enough in their own fucking head that they go into an interview? This is like me going to no matter what company I want to go interview for. I'm going in with the mentality that I have the job. I'm their man. I'm going to be the new CEO. Right? Even though I'm in the interview process with 3 other people. But no, fuck these 3 other people. I'm the man because I'm Max fucking Murphy. And they're going to hire me because I'm Max Murphy. Why wouldn't they hire me? This is Jim Harbaugh going in to a job position that was never even, this is an interview. This isn't even close to a done deal because they're still interviewing these 3 guys. These 3 other guys, the Rams defensive coordinator, the Rams offensive coordinator, the San Fran defensive coordinator, are all in their second interview. And Jim Harbaugh thinks I can just go in and fucking overtake these guys. So my fandom for Jim Harbaugh is now gone because now he goes back
completely. Like at Michigan, you're not gonna.
Here's why. Because he goes back to Michigan. Do you see his quote the other day?
No.
He said
this is a one-time thing.
No. He says, Michigan, let's go get this national championship when we fell short. Really, Jim? Because you just fucking told your team to fuck off and that you're going to the NFL.
Yeah, he would have went.
So fuck you, Jim Harbaugh. I used to love you. But that was just, I can't believe you can go into a job interview and thinking you're too big of a guy. That you're just like, I got it. It's in the bag. Now I'm disappointed. I mean, obviously I'm disappointed that we don't have Jim Harbaugh because I love him. Now I don't love him.
You do love him. It's okay.
No, I don't love him anymore.
You didn't love the way he handled it.
No, but I'm pissed off because now we have a fucking Rams offensive coordinator who has Odell Beckham Jr., Andrew Whitworth, Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Cam Akers, Tyler Higbee. Why the fuck do I want a coordinator who has all these playmakers as our offensive head coach, as our head coach? Tell me why the fuck I want him.
You have some playmakers too, though. Obviously.
God.
JJ.
He doesn't make the play.
Cook.
You know he doesn't make the play calls. Sean McVay does. So what does he do? Sit there and fucking twiddle his thumbs up in the booth? No, that's what he does. I'm dead ass. And that's our new head coach. And we will never be relevant until the day I fucking die and they go and win the Super Bowl. I'm not going to watch them win a Super Bowl. I'm sorry, Dad. I love you. You're not going to see this team win a fucking Super Bowl.
Oh, wow. All right, well.
As long as Kevin O'Connell is our fucking head coach and Jim Harbaugh isn't, game over. We at least had a chance to be relevant.
Wait, who's that coach? He didn't sign him yet?
Yeah.
Who?
Well, he can't officially sign until after the Super Bowl.
Wait, what's his name?
O'Connell.
Yeah. And it's done, you're saying?
Yeah, it's done.
Well, Max.
So there's my spiel about Jim Harbaugh.
If he had anything to do with putting the offense together, which we don't know, maybe he did. You guys got a new GM, right?
Do love the GM. Oh my God, he's a Yale guy.
So you got some new pieces.
Super smart. And this new GM goes out and gets players.
Yeah.
Myles Garrett, he gets players.
I was about to say, you have to have everything working. You have to have everything working behind the scenes first, and you have a ton of personnel already. The offense shouldn't be a question. How far Kirk Cousins can carry you, and whether he has the clutch.
Here's one thing I'm optimistic about our head coach. He was the quarterback coach with the Washington Redskins. Well, now Commanders. We won't talk about that because what the fuck, the Commanders. He was the QB coach in Washington when Kirk Cousins was the quarterback. So I think there's something there. That's the only relationship that I really know about. But
yeah, I ran into Kirk Cousins at Dunkin' Donuts a couple years back. Maybe I'll be a good fit. No, I never did. I was just joking around. But
when you live in Montclair, you see every fucking celebrity on there. Sorry, I'm kind of swearing a lot here. What do you want to go into? I'm done with Harbaugh.
We can talk Josh McDaniels a little bit on the topic of the Raiders. I think it's a really tough position for him to jump into when all the guys wanted to keep that interim head coach, and it's tough because it's not the guys' fault. They don't even know Josh McDaniels yet, and Josh McDaniels has to go in. It's probably a pretty hostile situation, and knowing the way Derek Carr and those guys have handled themselves this year with, honestly, a lot of class in the face of a lot of bullshit, I suspect that they'll give him every opportunity to win them over. However, I do feel for Josh McDaniels a little bit, and I find it weird. Do you think the front office at all reached out to the players and was like, hey, should we look into hiring this guy? It's weird, right? Because you want everyone to be on the same page and not some shit like this to happen. You're putting your coach in a hard spot and shit like that.
What's weird about this to me is it's not even talked about. Do many people know that Josh McDaniels is now the head coach of the Raiders? It was in midst of a lot of news that was coming out. I think it was even in the mix with Tom Brady's retirement.
It was. It was right there.
But it's we don't even talk about it, and this is a big deal. I think
it's going to be big for Derek Carr. We'll see.
I think this is now. Yes, the NFC West is great. We know the NFC West is great. The AFC West, and I think Josh McDaniels, unlike his previous head coaching job, I think he's going to have some success with this team.
He should.
I'm a big believer in Derek Carr. I love that defense. Max Crosby leads that defense. Love that defense.
Defense is disgusting.
I really think that they can take the next step with Josh McDaniels. I'm a big believer in what Josh can do this year.
Yeah, I would definitely.
And that's a Pats man.
As a Patriots fan, a lot of people shoot him away from. Everyone was, even me. I was begging. I was like, "Come on, Jaguars, just freaking hire the dude already."
I think he's a great fit.
They hired Doug Peterson, which we'll get to. But my point being is, we kind of wanted him to go for a little bit, but then the obvious, right, the instability for a rookie quarterback who's like a baby, right? You want him to grow up and know his freaking whoever, right? You don't want him to have to learn something new, and I think we're talking about bringing in Bill O'Brien. We're talking about bringing Bill O'Brien.
I love that. I love Bill.
Because he had his best years with us, and it's important for Mac not to have to learn new plays. And there's tons of guys still on this coaching staff who know enough to keep the system similar to what it's been so that Mac Jones doesn't... Because you want him to keep going. You don't want him to have to stop and start thinking again, right? Which is no matter what's going to happen, but you want to minimize that as much as possible. So I think Bill O'Brien, who he worked with at Bama, did he not?
Yeah.
So
he's their offensive coordinator.
Yes. So I think that would be that would be awesome for Mac.
When they showed him in the
he was familiar with
Man
Mac
in the arena
and with the Patriots.
Yeah, that seems perfect.
Yeah.
But when are you talking offensive coordinator? That'd be great fit. But when they showed him
What do
in
you think I was talking about?
Man the Arena, huh?
What do you think I was talking about? Taking
I don't
Bill's
know,
job?
maybe QB coach or equipment manager, maybe a water boy.
Okay.
No, when they show him in Man the Arena, I was like, dude, Bill Brown is actually the man, and we just didn't know that because of the Texans.
He did. He started trying to get himself fired, which I think a lot of people. It's definitely a character flaw that should be noticed. However, a lot of his shittier coaching decisions shouldn't be looked at as a bad football IQ. It should be looked at as a bad character move, because I don't think he was actually doing half the shit that he was actually doing. I think he wanted to go. I think he was ready for it, but I mean that team had Deshaun, because that team was a playoff team with him. They had Deshaun Watson, J.J. Watt, DeAndre Hopkins, Tyrann Mathieu.
Yeah.
That team was freaking David Johnson. That team was
good.
loaded, right? They got trounced by the Patriots a couple times in the playoffs, right? They were just one of the doorstep teams for us, but they were good. They were a playoff team every single year, and people forget that. And then things went south in the front office, which then started to show on the field.
I want to stay in the division and go to a team that really downgraded. The Miami Dolphins went from beloved Brian Flores to Mike McDaniel, which I think, he could be a stand-up comedian.
I like
McDaniel,
I like
but
him as a dude.
going from Brian Flores and that whole thing, which we won't get into Mike McDaniel, I think they're gonna see the owner is gonna see how big of a mistake that was.
And just on the Brian Flores thing, really quick, just so we can say it, we're just only not getting into it now until it's a closed case. So that way it's just easier to look at as a whole. But anyway, let's keep going.
Yeah, but Mike McDaniel, he's a funny, goofy dude.
He is.
And he's also brilliantly smart. Like, look what he did with Deebo Samuel.
I was going to say, outside of Deebo Samuel, how many pieces did he have? That might honestly be the definition of making something with nothing. Sure, does he not call the plays on game day, but who's installing the plays all practices? Who's, you know what I mean? Who's working with that offense? I like that because I think they did a very good job with the play calling and the play installation and the personnel that they got to make that 49ers offense run so smoothly with not a whole lot of freaking big name dudes.
They were one of the
obviously,
only,
besides Deebo Samuel.
They were one of the only teams this year that could just have a 15-play, 9-minute drive that just absolutely eats the clock and dreads the defense.
It kills the other team. Quarterback's getting cold and defense tired.
A lot of that's Kyle Shanahan, but brilliantly constructed offense. And I'm actually excited to see what Mike McDaniel does. I just think they're going to see the downgrade from Brian Flores to Mike McDaniels. But I do like him as a guy. I don't know
Mr. Ritchie,
what the Finns will do.
would you mind making sure that the sunset is not just a little bit?
Cameraman.
I just want everyone to be able to see my face.
Just so you guys know, this isn't free labor. Richie's getting paid $100 an hour.
You want me to completely shut it?
No, just pull it in.
Our cameraman recently dodged a COVID diagnosis, so we're very happy about that. You know, we were worried for a while. Good?
Yep.
All right.
Lovie Smith.
Anyway,
Lovie
Smith.
Smith
I don't know. I do not know a whole lot about him, to be completely honest with you.
All I know is that the Bears' defense wasn't great this year, and I don't know what the fuck Texans are doing, but I honestly can't comment on this head coaching hire. It just came out, but I can't
don't know a
comment
whole lot about him is the thing. Let's learn.
I don't want to learn about. Anyways, the Vikings played the Bears twice this year, and they usually lose to the Bears twice. But that defense was atrocious. And the fact that he's going to the Texans, I hope he proves me wrong, but that's not a great hire.
So wait, that was in. This is the last Lovie Smith thing. He was in. They hired within the team. Like he was on the. What position? He was on the Texans somewhere, doing something.
Yeah, he was a former Bears defensive coordinator.
But all these are pictures of him in Texans hats. So has he been a part of the Texans organization like this past year?
I don't know if it was this past year or if it was previously.
Maybe. Whatever.
Anyways, Doug Peterson to the Jaguars. Good news for the Jaguars.
You think so?
I kind of do.
People do forget he's a Super Bowl winner. Made Carson Wentz look unreal. I do think Carson Wentz is pretty good. Because he's got every physical tool. And then he made, I wouldn't say made, but was a big part of Nick Foles' success. Mm-hmm. And he's a Super Bowl winning head coach. There had been some, however, horrendous shit that I've seen Doug Peterson do that I can't remember exactly what it was.
No, you know what he did?
Something at the end of the game or something.
He sold the last game so that the Giants wouldn't make the playoffs last year.
That was what it was.
It grew my hate. Doug Peterson was up there with Sean Payton as my least favorite coach because of that. Doug Peterson, I was so pissed off when that happened because the Giants were actually emerging. They were having a pretty good year. And then they sell that game so that the Giants still make the playoffs. I'm like, honestly, fuck you, Doug Peterson. But I think it's a good veteran locker. I think it'll be good for Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Especially what he did with Nick Foles and Carson. I think it'll be good for Trevor Lawrence. I really want Trevor Lawrence to succeed because I was big on him coming out of college. I think he's a really humble, good dude, great quarterback. So I'm happy that they got like a veteran like presence in there. But Doug Peterson is not on.
I don't really like
one
him.
Of my
I
top
don't like
five
him as a
people.
guy.
Yeah.
But I would expect him to make them relevant. Like, you have some leadership.
Right.
Like, you have, I think, 6 wins in the bag, at least. Very, very worst when you have a real head coach. So, football is over. Just
Not
like
over.
that. Just
We
like
got
that.
6 days.
Just like that, we have 1 game left in the year, right?
Isn't that crazy? We did this podcast week 7? Week 8, maybe?
I don't know.
And it's been quite the journey. We were, I don't know how we really came up. You can go back to our first episode and see how we came up with this idea of doing a podcast. We had both, well, obviously we're both big into sports, but we had been like talking to each other. We became friends when we moved in here. And we're like, one night we're like, Halloween. We weren't in the best state of mind, but we were like, let's start a podcast.
Halloween. When and where did we?
Exactly.
I think it was right. I think it was right here.
My tent, you were screaming at me.
Rich,
what
can you check
happened
that
to
for
the
us? Rich,
screen?
can you check for us? Can you check the screen for us?
Oh gosh.
It just happened.
Just flip it, dude.
Recording's been stopped.
Did it get it?
Yeah.
For
It's
sure.
saved?
It should have. Yeah, you're chilling.
All right.
It's back up. Pike tent.
Do we
guys
have
were
to
screaming at me.
clap?
No, because it's already all in. We'll just
Okay.
do it again.
We were. Oh, what a journey we've had.
What a journey.
Football is almost done, but I think we started around week 8, week 7 of the NFL, and we've had so much fun doing this. We weren't in the best state of mind when we decided to do a podcast, but we're big on sports. Halloween night, or maybe night before Halloween, we were in here, and we were talking about, we were going to order mics and go to Target and pick them out. I remember that.
Listen, the camera's kind of scaring me now, so I say we make our picks, Super Bowl preview, and we wrap this up before our technology gives out on us.
NFL's king. We love you.
Are we not doing a quick Super Bowl pick?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, okay. All right, let's do it.
The Rams were my Super Bowl dark horse team at the beginning of the year to win it. I'm sticking to it. Rams -4. Absolutely hammer. I'm putting 500 on them.
Unfortunately, I would love to disagree for content. I can't. I think Zach Taylor is part of the Sean McVay coaching tree, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't think he loses. I think he's so hungry to get back here after the embarrassment that they scored 3 points against the Patriots. And I think that's it. I think that's where we leave you guys. And
Let's
listen,
have a Super Bowl week.
I'm not going to be placing money on this game because I think it's going to take away from my enjoyment of watching it if I'm pulling for one team too hard. Can't speak for him.
500 on the Rams.
By the way, go check out Bumblebee Bets on Instagram. Get some.
Fade Loctimus Prime.
Everyone go to Loctimus Prime on Instagram and
Click that unfollow.
Yeah, report it and
Bumblebee Bets.
report it for bullying and fraud.
Here's what I like to say. If you like to win, not everyone likes to win money.
Not everyone likes to win money.
But if you like to win money,
Some people are
Bumblebee
like, some
Bets
people are like,
might
oh, I
be
wanna
the
work
account
for
for
it.
you.
And it's like, oh, you want to work for it? Like that's like us too, and we get it. So if you don't
That's
like
why
to,
we're at school. We're here getting education.
Listen,
we're here
if
getting
you-
a
if
degree.
you
We're
wanna
here
work
getting
for
a
it,
job.
If you want to work for it, work for it. And we will too. But if you want to win a little extra,
I might not. I might drop out if Bumblebee Bets becomes a success. I might drop out and continue my profession in the sports gambling business and become a fucking millionaire. And good game, Bumblebee Bets. One episode, 410 Sports Podcast out.